Math 96, Quiz 3 topics. Polynomial long division. I thought it might be good to just review regular long division first because there are many similarities between this and polynomial long division. So for example, let's take 139 divided by 5 and review the steps. The steps are divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then repeat. Okay, so first we divide. How many times does 5 go into 13? We'd say, all right, twice. So we put that number up top, and then we multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, and then we subtract the 2 that we have. 13 minus 10 would be 3. We bring down our next digit, 9, and then we repeat this process again. How many times does 5 go into 39? And we'd say, oh, 7 times. So I write that up here, and then I multiply 7 times the 5 is 35, and then I subtract 39 minus 35 is 4. There's nothing left to bring down, and so that means I'm done. So this part here, the 27, is called the quotient, and this 4 is called the remainder. We will be looking for these same two parts in our answer when we do polynomial long division. So let's look at our example. Divide, give the quotient and the remainder. So here's our polynomial and what we're dividing by, which is a binomial. So let's write it just like a regular division problem. We're going to say 6x squared minus 5x. How many times does that go into this longer polynomial? 18x to the third plus 3x squared minus 21x plus 14. So I start by looking at this first term, 6x squared, and saying how many times does 6x squared go into the first term here? 18x to the third. So I could think about that as what would I have to multiply 6x squared by to get 18x to the third. So 3 times 6 would be 18, so I know I want a 3. And then I would need another x multiplied with this x squared to make the x to the third. So I'm multiplying by 3x. You notice that I'm writing my answer here over the second term because we'll have 2 terms here, and when we multiply by 1, we'll get 2 terms. And so that's how the answers should line up. So that was our dividing step. Now let's go to multiply. 3x times the 6x squared is 18x to the third. We want those to match. And then minus 5x times 3x would be minus 15x squared. All right, that was our multiply step. Next comes subtraction. So I'm subtracting everything on this second row from what's above it. 18x to the third minus 18x to the third would cancel out. That's what I want. Here I have 3x squared minus a negative 15x squared. So that's like saying plus a positive 15x squared. 3 plus 15 would make 18x squared. And then my next step is to bring down this next term, minus the 21x. Okay, so now I'm repeating the process again. I divide this into this. Okay, 6x squared times what would make 18x squared? Well, I don't need any more x's, but I need a 3, so let's add 3. And now I do the multiply step. 3 times each of these terms. 3 times 6x squared is 18x squared. 3 times minus 5x would be minus 15x. That was my multiply step. Now let's subtract. So here's my subtraction. Let's change the subtracting into adding the opposites. So plus negative 18 and positive 15. Okay, 18x squared minus 18x squared cancels out. And then a negative 21x and a positive 15x would be a negative 6x. And finally, I bring down my 14. Okay, now I take a look at this and I notice that this 6x squared, there's nothing that I could multiply by to get negative 6x because x has a smaller power than x squared. And so that means there's nothing left for me to multiply. This is actually going to be my remainder. And this part up on the top is my quotient. And so when you're on Alex, it will give you these two words, and that's what you're to type in next to them. So the quotient would be 3x plus 3, and the remainder would be negative 6x plus 14. And that's it.